This is Scott with Second to No One Canine Life Coaching, and I've got Alfie. When you go to work with a new dog and to get him introduced to everything else, you make sure that you're consistent on what you want. Thank you, Alfie. It's not about introducing him to everybody else and getting him to enjoy it. Worry about their basic needs first. His is to go potty. He's not going to take treats because he's not focused on treats. There's a million dog smells. I don't let him pull to where I want to go. We let him go potty. When a dog doesn't know anything and you're taking him out to go potty, do your best not to let him pull. I'm going to show you how hopefully keep this continuous. So if I don't want to go any further, we stop. Thank you, Alfie. Word association will be rewarded with treats when he looks. In the meantime, we stop and do nothing. Let him go potty. Thank you, Alfie. With his basic needs wanting to go potty and smell around, if I let him go play with the other dogs to go greet them, we'd have issues. So I lure him out of the situation. Don't even lure. Just walk in a different direction. I don't pull the leash. See how loose that leash and collar is? We can slip out of it. It's not about the leash and the collar is what he's going to learn. Thank you, Alfie. He checks in, he gets rewarded. Thank you, Alfie. So he understands when he hears his name, he'll get a cookie. Thank you, Alfie. Right now, everybody talks about, oh, treats don't work. You can't do it with the treats. That's because they're trying to force the treats on the dog. Thank you, Alfie. And I hold it just enough to where he actually has to come and get it. See, his demeanor calms down a little bit. Ears are a little bit less. Thank you, Alfie. We're able to stay in one spot. He's not trying to tug to go anywhere else. Ready? Let's go over here. Thank you. Go potty. He's a boy dog, so he can pee on anything and everything in the yard. It's expected. We think he might be hound or Catahoula. Not Catahoula, I'm sorry. Spotted dog, come on. McNabbs or a healer of sorts. Don't know, don't care. Think he's about 3 to 5. So he pulls, we stop. Thank you, Alfie. What are we doing? He's too worried about what we're going to do next. And it's up to me to show that we're not doing anything until I get what I need. Thank you, Alfie. This is not stuff I taught beforehand. You're seeing this raw and uncut. He knows there's dogs in the yard. Thank you, Alfie. He's been in this yard. He knows there's dogs on the other side. Thank you, Alfie. Turns towards me, he gets a treat. No, a tail wagging, much better. You a little more relaxed? I know, there's a lot. Thank you, Alfie. Walk. When he's not as interested in pulling, we can walk. Thank you, Alfie. Whoops. Dogs' introductions are not about the dogs actually introducing each other, but them not wanting to be introduced to each other. So you saw before how he was pulling everywhere else. Now you can see how he's actually not willing to pull as hard to get to stuff. Yes, I'm getting over a cold. My dogs were out here, peed on everything, I get it. Thank you, Alfie. When he listens more to his name, then I will reward for his name. Thank you, Alfie. And I got Mr. Blue over there, not my Blue, but another pitty with health issues. This is his hospice care. I want to know that my dogs ignore each other. That's the key to a proper introduction. When they can actually listen to me and not each other, that's just as important. Hi, Blue. And I'm going to try and reward both. Thank you, Blue. Just because he's not as interested doesn't mean he's faking it to get closer. Dogs do that. Thank you, Blue. Very gentle. Thank you, Belly. Thank you, Blue. Blue. Alfie. Sorry. Wrong dog. Since he's not caring about the leash, I can drop it. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Belly. Alfie. Thank you, Alfie. Good. He leaves. That's what we want. He doesn't have to have the treat. Good. No bark. Blue. Good. No bark. What are you looking for, Alfie? Now that I know I can safely get between these guys and him, it's a little safer introduction. Let him smell the yard. That's his priority, not the treats. The treats are just an appreciation, as a thank you. I'm going to let him do what he wants. He's on a leash. I can stand between these guys. Not a big deal. So that's part one. You saw him wanting to pull on the leash to get to everything else, and you saw how I handled that. Even with the dogs over here, let him pee, let him get it all out. He's safe. So I'll stop this, and we'll work on a part two in a minute. This is Scott with Second to No One, Canine Life Coaching with Alfie, who I'm working with, who knows nothing as far as I'm concerned, and getting him acclimated. I'm not saying we're going to introduce everybody, but we're not going to have negative associations with these two. There's more in the yard, but these two care. Hi, Alfie. See, still doesn't listen to his name. Not important yet, but it will be. Hi, Alfie. Still not important. All this is just fun. Alfie, ready? Do you want it? Do you want it at all? Look, 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 look. Thank you. He's not going to get in trouble for not listening. Good, no bark. Thank you, Belly. Thank you, Alfie. That would have been a reward for walking away, not for being introduced.